Hello, I'm Sarita Brown, President of Excelencia in Education. Our mission is accelerating Latino student success in higher education. So the opportunity to address the graduating class of 2020 is exactly what we want to do. But this isn't the way we thought we would. I'm sure it's not the way you thought you'd be graduating. And still, we are finding each other. More important, we are connecting. And we are saying to each other that you are greater than graduation. What you are achieving by earning your degree, by moving forward, that is what we want to recognize, honor, and celebrate. There are a lot of people who want to talk to you. I'm going to turn things over to them.
Congratulations to the 2020 Latino college graduates who have endured so much this year. I know that you have worked very hard, your families have sacrificed, you've come a long way to finally graduate, and I know it must be disappointing not to be able to participate in the festivities and the traditions and the events that you've so been looking forward to. But I want you to know that we are very, very proud of you. Times like these require leadership and courage and hope, and you represent all of that. In the United States, only 22% of Latino adults graduate from college, and you are helping us increase those numbers. Thank you so much for your hard work, for your brilliance, and for your dedication. We can't wait to see what you do next. Congratulations.
To the class of 2020, congratulations y felicidades. This celebration may be very different this year, but your achievement is no less inspiring.
Congratulations to all of the Latino graduates in the class of 2020. You've endured an extremely tough semester, and we at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation want you to know that we're proud of what you've accomplished. This is just the beginning of your journey, and we know that whatever your professional goals, wherever you live, you're on your way to making an impact in this world in ways big and small. And we look forward to seeing you do just that. So best wishes from us and congratulations.
We are so proud of each and every one of you and all of your academic achievements. I know there were days when you thought you wouldn't get to the finish line, but indeed you did make it. I'm sorry if we didn't have a real celebration for you, but know that we have been celebrating you for a very long time.
You are embarking on a remarkable journey at a historic time. And from the bottom of my heart, let me just say that I look forward to your leadership and guidance of this and future generations, because more than ever before, we need that from you.
On behalf of our entire university community, we extend to you our sincere congratulations and join Excelencia in Education in celebrating you.
Felicidades a la clase de graduantes 2020. Estoy sumamente orgulloso de ustedes. Sus familias y maestros, nuestra comunidad los celebra. Su trabajo arduo y perseverancia han dado frutos. Ustedes son los dueños de su destino. Con fe y fuerza todo es posible. Continúen soñando en grande y trabajando duro. Los apoyo.
You know, the true spirit of America and all that it has for the future is being realized by so many young people who are able to move forward and graduate and move on and become hugely creative in the evolving economy. And so I just want to encourage all of you to keep working towards your dreams and don't be stopped or slowed down by anyone or anything ever.
We know that success in education and in our larger society is a family effort, and for that, we salute you and your families. But you're just getting started. You see, with this degree, you're going to begin your careers or continue on to a graduate program or meet the need for solutions that our society needs now more than ever. And remember, no pares, sigue. Don't stop, keep going.
Congratulations to you and your family members on this amazing achievement. Keep on working, never give up, and continue to serve your communities. As we say at U-Albany, we hope that you will continue to unleash your greatness throughout the world. Felicidades y siempre hacia adelante.
And now I'd like to introduce you to your keynote speaker. Maria Hinojosa, an award-winning journalist, the anchor and executive producer of NPR's Latino USA. She is the founder of the Futuro Media Group, dedicated to community-based journalism. She is a professor who is currently teaching at her alma mater, Barnard University. She is an accomplished author. For 25 years, Maria Hinojosa's voice has been important to shaping our understanding of the Latino community, our relationship with this country, society itself, and she has done it all with a strong voice and keen optimism. Maria, we turn things over to you to address the Greater Than Graduation Class of 2020.
Hola, mis queridos estudiantes. Hello, congratulations. I wish I could hug each and every one of you. So you know that I'm Mexican. I was born in Mexico City. I'm a proud Mexican immigrant and now American citizen. And as a result, I do things my way. And if you were my students, because as a Mexican, I have 16 jobs, and one of them, apart from being a journalist, is also to be a professor. So if you were my student, I would have hugged you on the first day of class, and certainly on the last day of class. And right now I'm sending you virtual hugs. This is a really challenging time, and so one of the things that I do with my students is I always spend some time affirming and giving you shout outs and letting you know how amazing you are. So I just want to say I love you. And this is really hard. All of us are feeling this. And so we're gonna stay in this together, okay? We're gonna stay in this together. So I am multiple things, right? I am a journalist. I have a company, it's called Futuro Media. I do multiple podcasts. I'm also a mom. And so I have a student who right now is going through the same thing that you are, which is this sadness of not graduating in 2020, the year 2020. I'm a two person, so you know, two, oh my God, 2020 and no graduation. It's not the same when you have a graduation virtually and you're in your room watching this with your family. It's not the same. And so we have to mourn that. We have to mourn it and forgive the circumstances that we didn't have the commencement that you wanted. It's also historic. Your commencements will go down in the history books. And so will you. One of the things that I do as a professor is that I try to tell my students all the time that they are much stronger than they could ever imagine. Most of my students are Latinx. Most of them are first generation. And what we need to understand is that this moment, as painful as it is, and I'm a COVID survivor, is that it's teaching us so much. One of the things that I have learned as a survivor of this virus is to wake up every morning and say, oh my God, estoy viva, oh my God, with a kind of awareness that brings tears to my eyes. And so you don't know what you're learning right now from this moment, but you are. It's changing all of us. Not only COVID, but now this moment of uprising, to be visible, to support and break down racism against Black lives. Right? We're the center of hate in this country, the epicenter of hate in this country. So I want to also acknowledge your own anger, your disappointment, your sadness, your frustration. I want to acknowledge that because that's real too. And I just need you to hold that and try to understand that at some point there will be learning that comes from it. So you have to trust that you know more than you can ever imagine, right? You have to trust, right, that what you have lived through now, what we have lived through now is going to teach you more than you could ever learn in a classroom, ever. everything that you're learning right now in this time of trauma and tragedy. You're learning so much. You're like sponges. We all are. Our brains are changing. And so I want to acknowledge that you are stronger than you know, that you are encompassing more learning now than anything that I could have taught you in a classroom. And so one of the things that we're learning, especially in this moment of COVID and an uprising, is that we are saying we want to be visible. We want to own our power and our narrative. This is your moment to own your power and narrative, and we don't know what that looks like. For each one of you, you have to decide what that owning of power, what that owning of narrative looks like. It is not the same for all of us. And as Latinos, one of the central things that we have to do is we have to own our power, because so much time has been spent trying to take it away from us. You know that. Especially during the 4 years of your college careers. It has been a constant onslaught of attacks against you and us. And you survived it. So of course we're tired. Pues claro. Pero ¿qué vamos a hacer? What are we going to do if we're tired and angry? We're going to be tired and angry on those days, just like your parents or your abuelitos or abuelitas got tired or angry. Y bueno, tomaban un descanso. And then they got up and then they'd come back, because that is what we do. And I'm not saying that that's like, I am an immigrant, right? I was born in Mexico, so I definitely have that. And it's okay to not always feel like you've got to get up and go. Like, also pause, rest, sleep, but also meditate, heal yourself, love yourself, connect with our ancestral power. Also boxing, that's what I do. Running, hiking, lo que sea. You have to do that to love yourself and recognize the ancestral power that you have already. Because we are looking, oh, I know it sounds so terrible. we're looking towards you, we're looking towards you. But the point is that when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, when she graduated, no one was saying, you're the one who's gonna do it, Alexandria, right? All of you will know the moment when you own your power, and that's what I want you to do, is simply own your power. So, the Excelencia is already you. That thing that we live with, that imposter syndrome, that we're never good enough, you know, that thing, that thing is actually our superpower. Being bilingual, being bicultural, multicultural, what an old world, but okay. All of that, those are our superpowers. The things that we cut ourselves down for, those are our superpowers. Acknowledging that we have to take care of our mental health, but you have superpowers. Your challenge as you graduate now is to recognize the Excelencia in you already. That's your challenge. And so as you move now in these moments, as I say to my students, I need you to walk with your shoulders back and owning it the way we do, of course, but also with humility, the one that you learn from your parents and your tíos and tías and abuelitos and abuelitas and abuelitex, right? For all the Latinx out there too. I see you. I see you. And congratulations.
Maria, thank you. Thank you for joining us at Excelencia in Education to recognize our 2020 Latino graduates. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your heart. And thank you for your voice. Maria has graciously agreed to host a special conversation with our 2020 graduates. Their accomplishments and their voice are so important to us now and for our collective futures. Maria?
I am so thrilled to actually be with graduates now, because that's what it's all about. It's all about Latino, Latina graduates. And so we have a group of them, and they're kind of amazing. And what I want them to do is to very quickly just go around, tell us where they are right now, where they graduated from, and what they majored in. And then I'm going to follow up with a couple of questions that I usually ask my own students here at Barnard. So, Sarita, why don't you start?
Hi, I'm Jaritza. I'm currently in Albany, New York right now. I went to school at the University of Texas at San Antonio, where I majored in communication and then concentrated in public relations.
Wonderful. Teresa.
Hi everyone, my name is Teresa. I'm currently in Orlando, Florida. I just graduated from University of Central Florida. My major was political science with a pre-law track, and my minor was in crime law and deviance.
All right. Johnny.
Hi, so I went to Cal State Channel Islands, and I have a bachelor's of science in business administration, and I'm currently in Camarillo, California.
Alexis.
Hello, I'm Alexis. I'm actually right now at Juarez. I'm graduating from El Paso Community College, and my major is communication too.
Madeleine.
Hi, my name is I'm in Arturo, Puerto Rico. I'm graduating from the Inter-American University here in Arturo. I did a major on office system administration with a minor on computer science.
All righty. Gracias. Guillermo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Guillermo Jamoson. I am from the Bronx, New York. I graduated from the University of Albany from a major in Homeland Security and Cybersecurity with a minor in Sociology.
And finally, Elvia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elvia Mendez. I graduated from Grand Valley State University. Right now, I'm currently in Greenville, Michigan, and I studied political science with a minor in Spanish and human rights.
So I just want you to know that I'm also a mom of a graduate. So I've been feeling a lot of the same things that you are feeling, a lot of confusing emotions. I'm also a professor. So I have students right here in New York City who, like you, are graduating in really the best year of all, because I was born on a number 2. So 2 is like my favorite number. So graduating in 2020 is like, oh my God. And yet, you know, you have been faced with these challenges. As I said in my speech, in particular, these last 4 years in terms of being a Latino or Latina student in the United States of America has been an extraordinary challenge. So who wants to just kind of share how they've processed this? I think some students are really still in the sadness and the mourning, and that's okay. And while other students are kind of like looking at this moment from a different perspective. So anybody want to share kind of how you're using this moment to understand what the past 4 years have been about for you?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I feel like at first with the pandemic, when it was unraveling and everything, it was more of just accepting and realizing what was going to happen even before they announced like an official graduation's canceled, just seeing how things were unraveling. I think it was a big indicator. And I feel like that's when the acceptance began, having to like cancel the cap and gown and having to finish classes online and everything. But at the same time, it was kind of understanding the situation. Obviously, there are things, lives are more important than a celebration that obviously can be rescheduled to a different date, or even if it's not, you can celebrate with your family and people that mean to you. So I think it was kind of a battle of like, wow, I wish I could have been there, walked across that stage, but also understanding there's things that are more important, and that doesn't take away the great achievement that all of us had in this 2020 graduation. So I think that's how, at least personally, I saw it between that.
Yeah. Who else want? That was great, Teresa. Thank you. And there isn't a right way to feel, which is why when I was teaching the first few weeks of the pandemic, I remember just telling the students how out of sorts I felt. I was like, I can't do anything. And to let it be known that it was okay to feel that way. Anybody else want to share?
I can share something too.
Go.
Okay, well, as you, as me, we are all students that are dealing with this pandemic, right? And yeah, at first instance, it was frustrating because all the effort that you put all these years, and then you can have like a certain kind of way of celebrate. I know that all of you, even me, celebrate with our families at home. That's okay. That's really nice. And I know that in the future we can have our commencement. And something similar happened with with one of my younger brothers. His name is Ivan, and he's at his last year at elementary school, and he's not going to have his graduation too either. So yeah, that's kind of sad, but I know we can move on.
There is another way. I mean, look, this is hard, and I'm all about allowing ourselves to feel these things. There is another way, multiple ways to look at this, but one way is, and this is one of the things I said to my daughter, who is lucky enough that she will have a graduation next year. They just postponed until next year. Is that this is historic. There will be no other class of 2020. And so as much as it hurts, this is going to be a marker in your lives in a way that perhaps nothing else has been a marker in your lives. And so it doesn't help, but to be able to tell your kids or your nieces or nephews later, yeah, no, you achieved this extraordinary thing, but it was in the middle of a pandemic, and hopefully we all survive. Anybody else want to share something?
I think that.
Go ahead, Elvia.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I think that over the time that I was processing everything, I was just thinking about myself, because once you are so close to being done with college, you just think about yourself and like how much you're going to be celebrated. But then like I took a step back and I'm like, I'm not the only one who's going through this. There's a lot of other students that are in my shoes as well. And it was sort of comforting knowing that like I wasn't going through this alone, and knowing that like, my family was like my number one support system, and they're also like right there with me. So I think it was just a lot of like processing and thinking like, like this is something bigger than just myself, and really coming to an acceptance that like this is what's going on and what is going to happen.
Who else wanted to jump in?
Oh,
Gracias,
I was
Elia.
just say
Go ahead,
that,
Yaritza.
At first, it was definitely really difficult to accept because just knowing that, like, being one of the first people like in your family to graduate and like you're not going to have that commencement, I feel like that's sort of the hard part. But just knowing that, like, we accomplished this, like, even though we don't have a physical commencement, our hard work and just everything that we did along the road kind of makes up for it, because not everyone gets the chance to go to college or to even graduate. And at least we can say that we did that step and we got to graduate.
So one of the things that I told my students, and honestly, they were very lucky. My students are very lucky because I'm a pretty cool professor. I don't have a PhD, so I'm a pretty chill professor. I expect them to be engaged and fully present in class. And so I explained to them, I said, it was not about, we went to pass fail. It was not about working for that A. And I explained to them that what they were learning throughout surviving the pandemic, and this was before the uprising. So we're going to keep the issue of race and uprising and police violence and all that. We're just going to keep that over here for a second. And I just said, what you are learning now through this pandemic is so much. There's no way that I could have taught you anything compared to what you're learning now about yourself, about life, about your family, about politics, about health, about everything that we've learned together in these past 4 months or 5 months. If we would just allow ourselves to kind of open and it's not emotional learning. It's actually profound, deep learning. So I'm wondering if anybody wants to share something about what you feel like you've learned that you're taking away right now. Maybe it's about the 4 years, but it's also about, like, I can tell you, my daughter in the last 4 months since she's been back in March, total transformation in a good way. What would be the ways that you feel, anybody want to share in a way, or somebody who hasn't spoken, so Johnny or Guillermo or Madeleine, to share something that you feel like you've learned that is really deep and profound, perhaps as important as your 4 years in college or community college? Go ahead, Johnny. I think, or Guillermo?
Whoever wants to start. If you want to start first, you can start first.
We'll go to Johnny and then Guillermo.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I think for me, it was a great learning experience because I graduated in December and went full time in my position as a business operation manager for a home builder up in Paradise, California, which is the community that just burnt down completely. So here they are, they have a community that just burnt down. Now they're full blown, we're in the pandemic stage. So it was a challenge to kind of not be scared of what was happening and be there for that community and help them rebuild. We're building homes for them, getting them in homes, and also for our employees to keep them employed and keep them safe at the same time, because they're really frontline workers, having to get up every day and work and be out there when everybody else is at home, right? So how do we get through that when all these businesses are shutting down? Everybody needs a loan to survive, you know. So it was a challenge of my education and also of my personal kind of perseverance. Like, I'm not going to let COVID-19 scare me from being there for all of these people, the community and stuff like that. And I'm going to do what I got to do. I got to stay safe at the same time, but I'm going to be out there every single day and make sure that we're on time. We're building these homes. We're getting them into homes. There's 11,000 homes that have to be rebuilt in Paradise. So are we gonna stop because there's a virus? No, they've already been through total devastation, right? So I mean, how much more can you possibly do to a community? So for me, it was just a challenge to, how do we keep this together as an operations manager? How do I keep this together? How do I keep my crew together? You know, how do I keep everybody safe at the same time? So that was like a huge lesson for me. You know?
Damn. All right. So from California, Paradise, California, we go to the Bronx, which is one of my favorite places in the world. Always gets a bad rap. Guillermo, something that you've learned, not only the 4 years, but just in the past couple of months. Go ahead.
So being away from home for 4 years was very difficult for me. I'm very much family oriented. So coming back home during March when COVID-19 was really in its prime, I felt like under quarantine, I was having more family time. Before, I never really got to spend time with my family being away from college. So I felt like being at home, being able to communicate with my mother, my father more, telling them about my college experience and just being able to speak out to them during this time without having any distractions to go outside, to do errands, to do this and that. That was an experience that I felt was very much needed. And now that I'm graduating, it's like my parents, even though we did it from home, it's like they still feel the same honor and the same celebration that they feel like their child should get. So I'm happy, and I feel like that was a lesson learned.
Thank you, Guillermo. Marlene.
Hi, for me it was really hard because I finished in December my major and I started working full time. And when this came on March, it was really hard because I only have my mom and my grandma in Puerto Rico, and I was very frustrated because I wanted to help them, and I couldn't because I couldn't work. I couldn't do much. All I had to do was share with them, and this time was very special because I get to share and be with my mom. I'm sorry, and even really nice because I was working full time, and I didn't see them much. And I learned to be patient, to hear more my family, and to appreciate more the time I have with them. And I think that was a very important lesson this COVID-19 was given to us, because Also, we don't have much reason to spend with our family, and that is something you cannot take from us. It's like something very valuable for us, and you have to learn. This time is very special because maybe we don't have much time to spend with them, and this helps us grow and learn and be more considerate with this.
I agree. I mean, I'm already, because New York City is slowly beginning to reopen, and I'm already missing the fact that I have had family dinner with my 2 college graduate kids and my husband every single night. And thankfully, they've become amazing cooks. So one of the things I had written down was how this moment, and again, all of you are really dealing with these emotions, and I completely encourage you to feel things. Already you've made me cry. You haven't seen it because I'm not going to mess up my makeup, but already you've made me cry. So I encourage feeling the emotions. But I was thinking about this particular moment and particular group of students, and now I am talking about what is happening all around us. There is an uprising around the world against injustice and wanting to be seen in this country, which made me think about our privilege. I mean, we're here talking about a graduation, and you know, people right now are being tear gassed potentially. So how are you thinking? And that doesn't discount that all of you probably came from really challenging circumstances yourselves, just being Latinx. But how are you thinking about privilege and responsibility now? So it's a hard one, right? Go ahead. Who's that?
Oh, it's Sarita.
Go,
I
Sarita.
think that because like we've gone through like many history classes like throughout all like elementary, middle school, university, and I think that it's something that we have to do. Like we have to be willing to stand up for those that don't have a voice, because we are already seen with a higher privilege because we do have an education, so people are more likely to listen to us, and we have to be the ones that are willing to speak up for them and say this is wrong, this is right, and we just have to be the ones to actually do it and not stay quiet.
You know what that looked like for me this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning? It looked like having a conversation with the police driving through my Harlem park. And I stopped them and I said, why are you in your car driving through a park at 7 in the morning? Why don't you get out of the car and walk? The point is that what you're saying, Sarita, and I'm actually putting it on all of you. I think it was Johnny who said, we can't be scared. So that helps us in terms of understanding our privilege and using our voice. Anybody else want to share about this notion of privilege and responsibility?
Like Johnny said, how he's helping out in Paradise, California. That's wonderful. That's a step forward to giving back to communities, giving back the education that you learned to give back to those people. I feel like as graduates from universities, we have a platform. We have social media. We can always post, make that media outlet, just spread positivity around the world. It just doesn't have to be where you're localized in your local city, in your local town. It could be published anywhere. Anybody could see your post. It could be reshared. I feel like we have that platform, and as college graduates, we just have an upper hand. We're Latinos. Like we come from minority backgrounds. People will look at us and see us as an example. If they can do it, why can't I?
How many of you know what is the top consumer market in the United States of America? In other words, how many of you, who can tell me who is the top #1 consumer market that every single company in the United States wants to tap into? Anybody want to take a guess?
Marketing.
Latin Americans.
Actually, Alexis, you're a little bit right. The number one top consumers would be Yaritza, Teresa, and Marlene and Elvia. Not even me. Latinas, young Latinas, are the most powerful consumer market in the country. Why? You know why. Porque nosotras manejamos nuestras casas. So we buy for the entire family. And so, yes, if you broaden it out, Latinas are the most powerful, and then Latinos, a $7 trillion consumer market. In some ways, you know, my students say, who cares about buying stuff? But in another way, there's power there. Who else wants to share about that sense of power now? And I love what you're saying. Yeah, you do have power. Absolutely, you have power now. And perhaps that's one of the great lessons of being a college graduate, is recognizing the power that you do have. Who else wants to share?
I think for me, I think education is one of the most important things to have. And once you have it, to share it with other people. I think what's happening right now, like most people have said, it's a great injustice, and it's our job to take a step forward. Not only have we seen it in past history, but right now what's happening is history. And just not one frontier, but multiple. And it seems like every day it keeps unraveling even more. And I feel like a lesson to learn is like, it keeps going. And we've seen, obviously, protests and everything continue on for multiple days, but it's not just a matter of days, but our impact months from now and years from now. And I feel like we already have this as graduates. Now we have an education, but we have a responsibility to keep it going and have our impact matter in future generations and pass it down, especially with our family. I know a lot of people can be first-generation graduates, and I feel like having the opportunity to have learned from different points of view, different communities, it's important to share that not only with our peers, but also our family that may not have had that education, or if they had, it's a different time. And I feel like just like everything keeps changing, so have our mindsets and a lot of people around us. So it's important to share that information that we've gotten and continue on. Personally, I'm going to law school starting in fall, and I feel like one of the reasons why I'm so excited is because I want to be able to help people and continue that change for everyone, but especially in my community and for those group of Latinos that, you know, in medicine and law and so many different parts might not be as represented. And I feel like it is important because, like you said, we're the biggest consumer market. We have to have people there to support us, and not just, you know, spending money, but also in terms of medicine and different areas of life. So I think that our education is important, not just to change right now, but the future that's well on its way.
So I think Guillermo is Dominican. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I'm Dominican.
Tienes el plátano aquí, mi amor. So my husband, and I'm also Mexican, right? So I have like el elote right here in my frente. But there's something that my husband, the artist who painted these paintings, taught me when he survived actually a United States invasion into his country in 1965 as a little boy, and having to see soldiers, American soldiers, you know, landing in his country. And he told me that que tuvo que aprender cómo comerse el miedo. He had to learn how to eat his fear. And so I just want to say to you, you know, you have all eaten your fear and then some. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this call and you wouldn't have graduated. Part of what I love to do with my students in class is actually to take a little break in the middle of class and to just praise my students, most of whom are students of color, most of whom are Latinx, many of whom are women. And I'll just praise you. So this is a moment to praise you, that our biggest challenge oftentimes will come from defeating ourselves in believing that we can't do it. As Johnny was saying, and he was saying, I had to be safe, right? I had to have the right PPE, but I was not going to let my fear stop me. And all I want to say is each one of you has already not let your fear stop you. You have not. And everybody who is watching this has not let their fear stop them. So before we go, this is a question that I ask every student on the first day. And I'm going to ask it to you as we leave. I need you to tell me what is your craziest, wildest dream. And I'm not talking about, you know, I want to get a job. I'm talking about, oh my God, I want to direct a Hollywood movie. Or, oh my God, I want to win an Academy Award. Oh my God, I want to win a Pulitzer. I want to be the editor-in-chief of the New York Times. So what is your craziest, wildest dream? And actually say it today. Yaritza. Don't think about it too much, Yaritza.
My dream is to travel all around the world while eating all the best food and writing all about it and just sharing it with all my friends, family, everyone.
Okay, what's your number one place that you want to go to, the first place that you go?
I want to go to Egypt.
Okay. All right, we'll look for the pictures. Teresa, craziest, wildest dream?
Oh man. Well, I think mine does have to do with a job. I would like to be on the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
But why stop there?
The Supreme Court. U.S. Supreme Court.
That is so important, Teresa. So we just all heard you, and we want that to happen. You must be on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So we need you to start networking, which you already have already. We need you to up it 100% because that's going to happen. We all heard it here first.
Thank you.
All right, Johnny.
Mine's not that crazy, but I would like to do well enough where I could actually devote my time full time to. I always had this idea. I wanted to do a Jedi training academy, which is like a mentorship, I won't say a nonprofit because I think that nonprofits need money. So it's like a for-profit nonprofit, and that actually trains I would call it what someone would deem the worst of the worst in our neighborhoods. And maybe it's the kid where his mom is a drug addict and the dad's in prison, but there's some light in him still, right? Maybe there's a teacher that says, and this kid needs some time, he needs some molding. And I would like to be able to have the access to mentors. And I got homies right now that went to Harvard Law School, and they started out in California Youth Authority, so, and now they're attorneys and now they're doing things. And so I would like to have that access to those mentors so that these kids could see that they could actually do that too, right? Because a lot of times you just can't see it. When I know I grew up in the hood, I grew up around gangs. Our neighborhood was under a gang injunction for no reason other than the fact that there was some $1 million homes being developed in our barrio, right? So they want to clear out all the brown people. So, I understand that close proximity and that suppression and stuff like that, and not being able to see success, right? So, but if I would have had somebody that looked like me or had the same experience as me, take me and show me and mentor me, and I could call that person maybe when I'm stressing on my grades or a class, and how did you do it? And they're gonna say, man, I called my partner Johnny and cried on the phone because I couldn't hang, but he told me to stick in there, not to forget where I came from, right? So, and then he graduated from Berkeley, and then he went to Harvard, and so now you have, a Latino, Harvard lawyer that went back to his neighborhood and is doing good things. Now, I want that Jedi Training Academy because I think we're all Jedis, right? So I think if I had something like that, and where we could guide people to college and be successful, and then have them be alumni and have them be mentors later, future mentors, and we can keep feeding into that, and then we can take care of all of these worst of the worst that get lost in the system, right? So I would like to have my own mentorship academy, basically, and that for me is kind of like my wildest thing. For me, because that means I got to quit working.
Okay, we like the name. We like the Jedi Academy. We like it. We approve. Thank you. Okay. Alexis, tu gran sueño.
Wow, my wildest dream. I think I am a such fan for sports. I love the NBA, I love the NFL, and I would like to visit all the stadiums for each NBA team and each NFL team, because my dream is to be a sports broadcaster, mainly in Spanish, because I know that in the United States, even in Mexico and Latin America, there's such a big public for sports, right? So I want to be a sports broadcaster in Spanish, and I would like to visit all those stadiums to see the culture, the pride for each city to support their team, right? So yeah, I would like to do that.
That sounds like a great dream. I kind of love that. Thank you. Madeleine.
Hi, my dream is to open an organization in Arecibo because I want a place where people with special needs, not only adults, kids, to be creative and practice sports and learn different classes, take different classes where they can go ahead and be a better person every day. Because here, we don't have an organization where they support kids with special needs. And I think that's very important to grow and make a better society here.
And we're going to all come visit you in Arecibo. I promise you. I haven't been there for 20 years, so I'm coming back. Guillermo, what's your big, crazy, wild dream?
Not mine is not too wild, but
it's gotta be wild, but okay.
It's a dream though. It's a wild dream. So I want to actually go back to the Dominican Republic where my family, my mom was actually born, and it's a very poor neighborhood. It's a campo. I would like to actually build homes and actually a community center for kids after school. So in case their parents do have to work late, the kids actually have a place to go to instead of being in the streets, running around. You know how it is in third world countries. So I want to have that outlet and also build homes for families. So that's my wild dream.
That's a wild, beautiful dream. Finally, Elvia.
I think my dream would be either running for Senate or the House, because representation matters. And I think it only takes one Latino, Latinx, Latina to be in Congress for a whole wave to come, just like AOC is right now. She's a huge inspiration. So that's my wildest dream.
So I just want to say, you are my inspiration. When people ask me the question, oh my God, but you've interviewed so many people, you know, and yeah, like if I had to say, probably the coolest interview was Sonia Sotomayor in the Supreme Court, the most powerful Latina, most powerful Puerto Rican woman in the world. But really the people who inspire me the most are the people who I meet who are not famous, who don't have a big name. I would say in this group of people, I would just say, who don't have a big name yet. I believe all of you are going to be extraordinary successes. Already you are, and you're role models for me. So congratulations, woo, 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 congratulations, and know that you are a part of history, and know that this is a moment where we have to own our voice and our power. And I know that all of you are doing that. So congratulations, and I'm so happy to have been a part of your graduation. Mucho amor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
It was nice to meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wasn't that great? Gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you for being with us at Excelencia in Education. And congratulations again to our 2020 graduates. Nuestro orgullo. For more information, please visit greaterthangraduation.org to see videos from elected officials, partners, and presidents recognizing and celebrating the hard work and success of our graduates. Mil gracias.